Hi everybody, I'm Joe and welcome to My Tiny Kitchen. Today we are making molasses crinkle cookies. That's right, you heard me right. We are making molasses crinkle cookies today. Now these are a perfect holiday cookie. They've got molasses, ginger, cinnamon, clove. And if your Tinder date doesn't think that these cookies are pure heaven, well, they can go to hell.
These cookies are legendary, even in hell.
That's right, Pinhead. Now let's get cooking. Alright, the first course of action is to mix all of the wet ingredients into your mixer. We're going to start with 1 single egg, a heaping 1/4 cup of molasses. So it's always good to let your molasses sit out for a little bit, at least an hour before you pour it, because if you pull it straight from the fridge, I mean, what are you even doing with your life? But nobody's perfect, so let's move on. To our egg and molasses, we are going to add 1 cup of sugar. I like to use cane sugar. It makes me feel like a good little hipster, using like all sorts of cool unprocessed sugar that doesn't have all sorts of bleach and bull stuff in it. To that, we are going to add 3/4 of a cup of butter. Now you may be saying to yourself, Joe, how the hell much butter is 3/4 of a cup? Well, don't Google right away, because it's 12 tablespoons or a stick and a half. We've got, to recap, we've got 1 egg, we've got a heaping 1/4 cup of molasses, we've got 1 full cup of cane sugar, and we've got a stick and a half of butter, and now we just mix that up real nice. Alright, so all of our wet ingredients are mixed together. Time to work on the dry. So we're going to start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. There's our 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's good. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of baking soda. I'm sorry, 2 teaspoons. Don't get that mixed up. And again, just use the side of the box to level it off. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And now, here's where things get flavorful. 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Got 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. That's that. We'll just mix it together. Think about life. Alright, so we've mixed our wet, we've mixed our dry. Time to mix them together. So I like to scrape down the sides just a little bit before I do this, kind of get all the wet ingredients down into the center of the bowl. Now bear in mind that this is an incredibly thick and sticky dough. So what you're going to want to do is kind of add this in sections and scrape down the bowl as you go. So I added about half of the dry ingredients here. Scrape down the bowl. Because while stand mixers are great, a lot of times they'll leave stuff on the side there. This dough needs to sit in your refrigerator for an hour before you were going to roll it into a ball and bake it. So I'm just going to cover this with some aluminum foil, set it in the fridge, and then I don't know. All right, the dough has rested in the fridge for an hour. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees. And then pull your dough out of the fridge. All right, so we've got our chilled dough here. We've got a bowl of regular sugar. Now there's some debate. Some people like to use powdered sugar. I like to use granulated sugar. If I'm doing chocolate cookies, crinkle style like this, I like to use powdered sugar. But for these, I think a little bit of sugar works. Regular sugar works well. If you want to add a little extra touch, put a little bit of nutmeg in there and it works really well. So just take a pinch, maybe about 2/3 the size of a golf ball. Just roll it into a ball. Roll the ball into sugar. Roll the ball into sugar. I like to sing goofy songs while I do this. Rolling the ball into sugar, baby. All right, so we have rolled these into a ball, rolled them into sugar. The oven's now set to 375. On a large baking sheet, I like to go 4 rows of 3. That way they don't kind of, meld into each other. You don't have to cut them apart. We are going to bake these for exactly 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Trust me on this. I have done the research. All right, it's been exactly 11 and a half minutes. Now we're just going to let these sit on the pan for just a moment, because if you'll notice, they're slightly soft. I've got enough to make a second batch here, but I'm going to be nice and not make you watch me do this. So let's cut to me feeding Doug this delicious cookie. And I think there's just one more order of business. Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
You want to get down on some of this?
Hell yeah, I do.
All right.
All right.
Let everybody know. The delectable. Oh, look, notice. Oh, oh. Bathroom's over there if you need to clean up. It's really good stuff. Okay. Well, this has gotten creepy. Make sure you follow 1.21 Productions on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at 121 Productions 1, and find us on Facebook. And we'll see you next time on My Tiny Kitchen. God damn, this really is a good cookie.